G5 says I bought mine used also for about $1,800 and upgraded from there. Love it. Michael says G5 was the one. It was, man. When Apple went to Intel chips, it was the end for a lot of G4, G5 owners. I agree, man. And you see, they made their way back with the M1 chips, and I'm happy. I'm happy with that, because even on like my Intel machine, man, I have a Hackintosh. I built a Hackintosh. That was the one I was using before the M1, and that one it was still run. But when it came to doing stuff like this, like streaming, some video editing, and I had I forget what processor, but it was a decent processor. It could handle it, but it was just always some type of like lag or glitch, and I couldn't get around it. No matter what, buffer size or nothing I would do would fix it. Then I got the M1 smooth. I talked to somebody else who had an Intel Mac Mini. They were having the same issue, so I don't know what it was, but I'm glad they went back to just doing everything themselves, putting their own chips in there. So yeah, whole submission game, getting first placement uphill. Oh yeah. Do we submit questions here in this chat, or is there another place? Oh no, Jordan, yeah, you can definitely drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. All right, B-Rad Tunes and stuff says I'm stuck selecting appropriate plugins. I'm overwhelmed with what's out there. Literally tons of companies, and each company has tons of selections. Am I making this too difficult? I feel stuck. Yes, analysis paralysis for plugins. Or what did Flares call it? What do y'all call it? We have Flares came up with an acronym, and we use it in the community. I forget. Where there's gear acquisition syndrome, and then somebody created PASS, plugin acquisition syndrome. That's what you're suffering from, B-Rad. And here on the Music Is My Business podcast, we help you navigate through your plugin acquisition syndrome. This is what you got to do. This is what you got to do, man. This is how you get past it. You got to find those core plugins that it's like your meat and potatoes. Like for me, I have a couple go-tos for certain things. I have some go-to compressors. I have some go-to EQs. I have some like go-to whatever things I put on a kick or drums or whatever. I have some go-to things, right? And then I stick with that for a while. Occasionally I'll play around and experiment with some new things, or maybe just like get another group of go-tos at some point where it's just like, okay, I'm bored with it. Like, let's try something else. That happens from time to time. But get you just some core plugins that like, boom, like I just know these work. They get the job done. And then try, and I say try because it is challenging, try and ignore everything else and just work, create the music. Because it is a lot of stuff, man. It's overwhelming. And you think, like something new came out. I got to get it. Listen, even with DAWs, man, like I'm a Logic user, but these DAWs, sometimes they pull me in, man. They pull me in. And it's like, Ableton. I went to an Ableton event, and that was a mistake. And then I went down an Ableton rabbit hole after that. I was just like, what is happening? Like, I'm getting backed up on projects because I'm sitting around fooling around in a new DAW. Don't know what I'm doing. But it's fun, you know what I'm saying? Just to experiment. But then, did y'all see Studio One Pro 7? That update was crazy. I was looking at that like, I don't know. She's all right. But I gotta get back focused. Let me get back in Logic, man. Let me not stare at that too long, because I'll mess around, and next thing y'all know, y'all watching me cook up live in the hub, and I'm on Studio One, optimizing a workflow somehow. So, sometimes, man, you just gotta ignore the stuff, man. Pick your go-tos, run with those, and keep it moving, man. But that Studio One, yeah. I think they fixed the issue I had with it in the past. It was like, it was in the mixer thing where your plugins, your inserts, I had to click like too many times to like open things up. I didn't like that. Whereas Logic, it was just like boom, 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 boom. Pro Tools, boom, 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 boom. Like it's just all in a row. I really like that. I think they fixed that. Like, I was looking at some screenshots, you know, just dealing with my own plugin acquisition syndrome, and I was just like, man, I think they fixed that. I also like that you can, I always like the fact that they have like shortcut presets from other DAWs. Everybody should have that. That's, especially when you hop between two DAWs. Like for me, it's like Pro Tools, Logic. To just have one set of shortcuts is super convenient. I think you can customize them, you know, in Logic, but I mean, who wants to do that when you just click a button and boom, your presets are there. You're probably ready to start trying to get TV placements, but you just don't know the next step to take. So I want you to download my free Sync Producer Quick Start Guide, which is going to help you do that. It's going to give you the steps and it's going to give you resources to get you started on this journey. So just go to clintproductions.com/free guide or click the link in the description and download that free Sync Producer Quick Start Guide. All right, so Jordan Harris says, how do you get to the point to where you're getting sync briefs as opposed to submitting to libraries? Do briefs come directly from music supervisors? That's a great question. Some libraries will send out briefs regularly. Some don't. Some will send when they get briefs in from music supervisors, and then they forward those briefs to everybody on their roster. So it's a combination of all of the above. I would say to be at the top of the list for consideration for briefs, submit regularly to those companies. And then when they see you're being consistent, even when they're not submitting briefs, then that's going to, like, you know, that's going to look really good to them. And then when briefs do come up, they're like, yo, this guy's always submitting stuff, like good quality music on a consistent basis. We haven't even sent this dude a brief in years. And it's like, let's send him something. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say in regards to that. Like, that's how you start getting briefs and like staying top of mind, is just by submitting the music and being consistent before the brief even shows up to your email. And then just reaching out. Hey, you have, like, what are your current needs right now? How can I help? They may be sitting on like 7 briefs, and, you know, for whatever reason, it could be anything, man. It could be a tech issue with the email, and they're just like, oh, we thought you were getting the emails, my bad. And then boom, you're back in the rotation. So yeah, just depends, man. Some companies will send them out regularly, some don't. It just depends. Some it's just like, hey, you just upload whenever you want, you know, we'll just send it out when we get it. So depends. Happy Friday, love has limits. Welcome to the stream. Mikey, what's up? Hey, Clint, hope you're doing well. Thanks for always dropping knowledge on music sync licensing. Absolutely, Mikey. Glad I can help. I'm literally learning and reminded right now how important organization is in sync. Yes, it's critical, man. So you gotta pass gas. Yes, you got to. I'm on. That's gonna sound mad random in context listening back on this podcast. Like, yes, you gotta pass gas. Finally hitting the limit on the M1. Flares, what are you doing over there, man? Like, stressing out the M1. I can only imagine. This dude is probably like, I don't know, something crazy, just like in the middle of a glacier in Alaska, recording epic drums for his next trailer and using the cracking ice as sound design. Meanwhile, the M1 is freezing in the middle of this glacier. Flair says, Clint's magic. He memorizes all 4 DAWs shortcuts. My brain would melt. No, I don't, man. Like, listen, I'm in, like, I'll hop from like Logic to like Final Cut Pro and then like Ableton, and I'm using all of their shortcuts within all 3 of them and just messing stuff up, man. I done butchered some stuff fooling around with all these shortcuts. So I would not recommend, you know, using a bunch of DAWs and a video editing app and trying to remember all those shortcuts, because you will screw something up. I done deleted stuff when I was trying to splice it and cut it. I've done weird things to where like I unlocked secret shortcuts that I didn't even know like you could do, just hitting another DAW shortcut in a different app. It gets weird, man.